Welcome back to SwitchCorner. Today we're going to be taking a look at our weekly breakdown of the best deals across the Nintendo Switch eShops. Here we cover the US, Canada, UK, EU and Australia. This video, it is any price goes, and it's a bit of a quieter week for deals, though we are seeing some first time sales and quite a number of new all-time lows. As always though, if you do want the cheaper side of the eShop, check out our Thursday edition where we keep everything sub $10. Then as always, we do have two winners to announce this week. We'll be doing that as we go through today's video. If you want a chance to win one or two $10 eShop gift cards this week though, as always, simple enough, just drop a comment down below and winners, they'll be announced in next Saturday's episode. With that then, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here, join our growing family, and let's get started. So kicking off the week, it's a big one, Neon Abyss. This one, it's a roguelike that just screams style with beautiful pixel work, and as the name would suggest, a whole lot of neon. Here, expect to be traversing these 2D worlds, just taking down wave upon wave of enemies. This is the usual, progress as far as you can, find weapons, buffers along the way, die and repeat. And while I don't think it quite makes the pinnacle of the genre, it's still a very good example of it. Especially the bar hub world, you'll find yourself in between runs. Here you can apply, more permanent buffers and unlock weapons. The gameplay though is solid, it's super responsive, which is an absolute must for the genre, and it leads to not only slight progression but more variety as well. This one, basically the challenge is actually growing alongside your ability. My only complaint towards the end game, it all got a little too repetitive in its visual design, and I wish they had added just a little bit more in here to mix things up. The best part of Neon Abyss though, the creativity of its weapons and what they call pets. The pets, they follow you on screen as a support almost, but then the weapons, the opening moments, you'll find yourself strapped to a balloon while equipped with a cat gun. If that makes you smile or piques your interest, this is probably gonna be the game for you. 20% off though, not a huge discount, but it's maybe 3 months old at this point, so it's still not bad at all. So another brand new release for you now then, Peaky Blinders Mastermind, a game based on my hometown, and for that reason it will always get a shout out. And I gotta say, for a licensed game, normally a sign of, this is gonna be absolutely awful, they surprised me and created something that's not only fun, but it feels very unique. Here we're getting a strategy game that is absolutely built for the fans of the show. Actually, any fan of the show is going to love one thing about this game: the writing. It just captures these characters perfectly. The only small complaint I have, I wish it was all voice acted. Gameplay then, and it's essentially an isometric style puzzle game that will no doubt appeal to fans of turn-based strategy or even real-time strategy as well. The idea is this though, you'll be navigating these locations to get to obviously an endpoint, complete a mission. You'll be controlling those multiple characters to reach this goal. So let's say there's a locked door between two characters. Here you'll need to control character one and let's say hit a switch to open the door, and you'll hold it open. Then you'll switch to character 2, rewind time, which is kind of the big mechanic here, and then walk through the door as character 1 opens it. Things of course though escalate from simple doors. 10 levels in this one though, at 33% off, you'll easily get your money's worth, and it does mark a new all-time low. Valfaris now, and as we spoke about Slain on Thursday's edition, let's talk about the Mightier sequel. This one is matching its best price ever with 50% off. Where Slain was at times a little rough around the edges, let's face it, Valfaris took the formula and just improved across the board. Pixel work, another level as we take the fight to a futuristic alien world. The controls tighter and just simply more responsive. The weapons more creative. Just overall, this was an intense ride from beginning to end, and it absolutely did everything a sequel should. Expect here though a great metal soundtrack, a whole lot of platforming, tons of enemies to take down, and then of course just blood splatter absolutely everywhere. Just be warned with this one, like Slain, it's not an easy game at all, but thanks to the tighter controls, it feels a lot more fair than their first outing. Two races for you now that I am going to quickfire. First though, Monster Energy Supercross 2. I want to bring this one up again because so many people visit my MXGP free review every time it hits a sale for a couple of bucks. Do not waste your couple of bucks there. The game is absolutely awful, literally one of the worst games on the Switch. If you want a budget Supercross style game, this is probably going to be your best choice. While I will say the first game was kind of weak, so I wouldn't go there. The third entry is definitely improved across the board. This is still a decent little racer, and you'll find an in-depth review over on the channel. 75% off though, it's matching its all-time low. Then if you want some arcade action, Rise Race the Future, it's another good choice, but switch out the bikes for cars that can actually convert into hover hovergraphs on water, so think basically Back to the Future. Here though, you're getting 60 frames per second, multiple championships, different planets to race on, different difficulty options, a decent chunk of vehicles. I think there's like maybe 12 in this one, 64 challenging races, and yeah, I had a lot of fun here. There's a good amount of content that's going to keep you coming back. Sadly though, I will say no online racing if that's a deal breaker for you. 30% off though, it's matching the all-time low price. So while we're on like double packs, the Oddworld deals are back. First time we've seen them since July. Jump on these quick though as well. Every other game in this like video today, the sale's on for at least the next week. These do expire in just the next few days. First up, we get Munchies Odyssey, a platformer that marked kind of Oddworld's first foray into the like 3D platforming world. Some loved it, some not so much. I reviewed this Switch build on the channel, and while it still has its charm, I'd reserve this one for those of you out there that either played it back in the day or at least don't mind, you know, more of a retro feel, because it is for sure a bit dated by modern standards. That said though, great story still, and the characters, I just personally love revisiting them. 33% off though brings the price much closer to what I would call fair. It was definitely overpriced on release. That said then though, Stranger's Wrath I would absolutely suggest to everyone. Love this game. It takes the 3D platforming idea but then throws in a healthy dose of first person action, which makes for some serious creativity. What I love though is the crossbow weapon. It takes these weird little alien creatures as ammo, and as you explore, more and more will unlock. This game as well, graphically, I think it still stands up to this day. Now like Munchies, this one is 33% off, and for me, easily the better choice of the two. Alright, so our first winner this week then, we got Remy7, who asked in the comments how difficult the puzzles are in Iconoclast. I don't think it's too difficult, honestly. There was a few moments where I'd say I kind of got a little lost, and the occasional boss moment I will say can be a bit of a challenge and frustrating, but I think you should be absolutely fine. Drop me an email though, Remy, to claim your code, and we do still have another winner to announce later in the video, but of course first, more games. So my pickups of the week now, and I'm grabbing two personally. First, Merchant of the Skies. This one is a trading game with some minor base building, so yeah, basically a tycoon game as you take over a floating merchant that travels this world. This is one I wanted to try, but the price, it just wasn't quite, you know, what I wanted. Now 34% off though, I do want to give it a shot. It's promising a 6 to 8 hour campaign as well as a sandbox mode, and I like tycoon experiences, so I'm hoping it just kind of captures some of that magic that keeps you coming back. Then my second pickup, it's going to be The Lion's Song. This is one that I've always like loved the visual style of, but I never got around to playing, so now is my chance with 40% off. It's an episodic adventure set in 20th century Austria, where we basically follow a group of artists and scientists as we dive into their struggles, creativity and inspiration. I think it's going to be fair to point out here, it's for you like character study fans. I wouldn't go in here expecting, you know, action packed, but I am hoping for some solid writing, and reviews that I've seen, they seem to suggest I will get just that. So before we get to our second winner then, Warhammer 40,000 Space Force. Really enjoyed this turn-based entry, but reviews, they are just all over the shop, as low as like I think 3 out of 10 I saw, all the way up to 8. So I would say maybe check out a few reviews first, see if it's going to be for you. Here though, you're going to be commanding the Space Wolves as you set out to battle the Servants of Chaos and then the Necrons. I like this one because I thought basically it just ran really well on the Switch. It's kind of like very small scale in its battles. You're controlling individual Marines rather than units. So I just feel like it translated to the Switch control scheme really nicely, especially in handheld. Like I said, check out some reviews first, but if you like turn-based strategy or you like Warhammer like 40k especially, then I think this is well worth a look. And with 40% off, it's a great price for a game where the campaign is easily going to be like the 15-ish hour mark, if not more. So before we get to our final 3 games of the week, then our second winner of the week, and that is going to Scott T, who recently added Rebel Galaxy Outlaw to his wishlist. I've been playing this one quite a bit, and it took some time to really kind of get going, but I've been enjoying the ride so far. I'm also a sucker for anything sci-fi though, honestly. Congrats though, Scott. Drop me an email to claim your code. Then everyone else, remember to drop a comment down below for your chance to win this week. Winners announced next Saturday as always. So our final 3 games then, and kicking things off, Annapurna Interactive, they released I Am Dead this week. I reviewed it over on the channel, and well, yeah, like another fantastic game they released in the past gone home. It is on sale right now with a new all-time low price, and I strongly suggest you consider adding this one to the collection. This is self-described as a interactive exploration sim, and I think that actually sums it up perfectly. Here you're walking like around this house, you're investigating each room. No combat, no puzzles, you're just going to get lost in its world. The story is incredible though. You return home after a year away, you're expecting to, find your family there to greet you, but there's no one there. Where is everyone? What's happened? That's for you to figure out, and at 70% off, absolutely worth it. So our penultimate game of the week then, and this is a recent release, one I meant to cover on the channel and kind of time just got the better of me. So here is it, shout out Deadly Days. Coming in with 40% off, it's a new all-time low, the game only released like a month and a half ago, so it's a great price. Here though, we're getting a roguelite set during a zombie apocalypse, so you're out to protect a group of survivors with tons of weapons though, abilities, procedural generation, different survivors, bosses, and built-in achievements. It's got a lot of reasons to keep you coming back. The controls really solid though, the challenge is for sure real, and it's all wrapped up then with just this great sense of humor and story set around where the zombie invasion has come from, these burger bars. The strategic element though is what makes it interesting, as you will have the choice of what missions you complete each day by which ones will benefit your group of survivors the most. Die though, and as always, you're going to be traveling all the way back to the beginning. So our final game of the week then, Ancestor's Legacy, an incredibly ambitious real-time strategy that found its way to the Switch, and I reviewed it here on the channel. This one though, expect a history-inspired experience as you face challenges throughout the Middle Ages. Expect combat, exploration, resource management, base building, and I will say as well on the combat, this is not small scale either. You're controlling a ton of full-on units. What I like though is each of the 4 included nations, Viking, Anglo-Saxon, German and Slav, each have their own campaign, and this was seriously ambitious to bring it to the Switch, and it performed a whole lot better than I ever expected. While it's not perfect, some frame rate hits occasionally, some graphical pop-in, animation issues, you should find it pretty easy to forgive this one once you jump in, just simply because there's no other game on the Switch taking the RTS strategy and putting it to this scale. Honestly, let's face it, RTSs in general, they're underrepresented on the console as it is, so it's nice just to get one big scale one. If you're worried about controls too though, they've done a great job here of translating them across. Was a little expensive to start with honestly, but this 35% off, a great price for the amount of content you are getting. And that is it, another week down. Will you be adding anything to your collection or giving the bank account a well-deserved rest? Remember to drop your comment down below for your chance to win though in next week's video. With that then, a shout out to the patrons who are just going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. Helps more than you know, and it truly is appreciated, so thank you all so much. If you want to check that out for yourself, it is linked in the video description down below. Then finally, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.